Welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing something a little bit different, although I don't know if you can really say that when I only have like 6 videos and all of them are different. But we're doing a booktube video today, which I'm really excited about. I love reading books and I love watching videos about books, and so I figured it was time to make one of my own and hopefully keep it going, make a few more videos. We'll see what happens. Today I have some books on my physical TBR, which is pretty much half my bookshelf anyway. I kind of want to go through them to, motivate myself to read them because I don't like having so many books that I know nothing about on my shelf. I love knowing everything about my bookshelf and knowing that all of the books there are books that I love and can be proud of, and not to say that in like a weird way that I'm like not proud of books that I've not read. I don't know. I'm a big library advocator. I'm not a fan of buying all of these books you know nothing about. It's just a personal opinion. I love watching videos from people that do huge book hauls. Like, it's not to say that I hate that. I just personally want to know all of the books on my shelf and know that I love them. But over the past while, I've been getting a lot of books. I have kind of 3 sections here. The first is books that I actually did buy from, I think all of them are Barnes & Noble. Yeah, I actually did buy these. So these are my fault. But I have those, and then I have books that I got from my school library, which is kind of weird, but basically they were getting in a lot of new books, so they had to get rid of a bunch of books, and they let us take ones that we wanted. So I got like 8 books. I already read 2 of them. These are the ones I haven't read yet, just because they're kind of hit or miss. They're not as exciting to me. I just kind of picked them up because I didn't want them to go to waste. And then I have another section here. These are books that I either was gifted or found in my basement or got from like yard sales for like 50 cents. That I just kind of split it up into some sections to make it easier to get through. But I am going to start with the books that I actually bought. The first 2 are based off movies. If you don't know, which you probably don't, because why would you? I am going to the University of Pittsburgh this fall to study film and media. So obviously I like movies. Because I like watching movies and reading, I like to kind of see the difference between the book and the movie type of thing. First one is Dead Poet Society. I love Dead Poet Society with all of my heart. It's one of my favorite movies ever. And what's interesting about this book is that instead of the movie being based off of the book, this book is actually based off of the movie, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, based on the motion picture written by Tom Schulman. So I'm interested to see kind of the difference between this and a book that is used for a movie. You know what I mean. If you don't know what Dead Poet Society is about, basically there is a private school, Welton Academy, and it's pretty strict. Pretty much everyone's parents are mean, that kind of thing. And then suddenly they get this English teacher named Mr. Keating who kind of shows them like the carpe diem type of thing, make your life extraordinary type of thing. Basically they all discover themselves and they revamp this Dead Poet Society that Mr. Keating was a part of when he was younger, where they run off to a cave, read poetry, enjoy life, that type of thing. And I just love it so much. You just gotta at least watch the movie. But I'm excited to see how the book is. The next one is Fight Club, another one of my favorite movies ever. I promise I'm not just saying that to like be one of the film bros. Like, I actually like this movie. But anyways, if you don't know what Fight Club is, basically the narrator, he has this like boring job and whatever, and then he meets, what's his name? Guys, I promise I like stuff. I just have a really bad memory, okay? So I'm sorry if I don't remember names and what the books are about. But he meets Tyler Durden, an enigmatic young man who holds secret after-hours boxing matches in the basement of bars. So basically, he's kind of torn out of his boring life and into this life of Tyler Durden, and it's kind of just a crazy, like, I don't even know. It's just crazy, and it's fun, but it also is kind of dark and just talks a lot about life. I need to get better at, like, turning my thoughts into words, because, like, I know what I'm saying, I just don't know how to say it. Watch the movie, but also I'm excited to read the book and kind of get more insight into the narrator's, like, thoughts and whatnot. I also love this cover. I feel like that's going to be an unpopular opinion, but I really like this book cover. What? The next book I have is a little bit different, Crime and Punishment. First of all, I love this cover. I don't know why, but, like, look at the back. It's, like, cartoony, which I just feel like is interesting because it's obviously not a cartoony book. It's Crime and Punishment, but I'm really excited to read this. I've heard that this is really, really good, and I'm a little bit scared because it's obviously, it's Russian literature. I feel like it's going to be a little bit harder to digest. I might get another Dostoevsky book first to kind of understand his writing before jumping into this, because it is pretty big. But if you don't know what Crime and Punishment is, guys, I can't pronounce this. Raskolnikov, a destitute and desperate former student, wanders alone through the slums of St. Petersburg, delirious, imagining himself above society's laws. But when he commits a random murder, only suffering ensues. Embarking on a dangerous game of cat and mouse with a suspicious police investigator, Raskolnikov is pursued by the growing voice of his conscience and finds the noose of his own guilt tightening around his neck. Only Sonia, a downtrodden prostitute, can offer the chance of redemption. So I'm just interested to see if I like this, because I feel like I'm not going to, but I've seen really good things about it, and I don't know. I'm just hoping it, like, holds my attention, because I just have a hard time getting through long, boring books. So I'm hoping interesting stuff happens. The next book I have is Something Wicked This Way Comes. I fell victim to the buy one, get one 50% off at Barnes & Noble. So again, not sure how much I would actually like this, but I love Ray Bradbury. I love Fahrenheit 451. I had to read it in, like, middle school for gifted classes, so I've got, like, a connection to Ray Bradbury. He is my man. Also, I love this cover. It's very, like, circusy, and I don't know if it's actually circusy. Yeah, it's circusy, I think. For those who still dream and remember, for those yet to experience the hypnotic power of its dark poetry, step inside. The show is about to begin. Cougar and Dark's Pandemonium Shadow Show has come to Greentown, Illinois, to destroy every life touched by its strange and sinister mystery. The carnival rolls in sometime after midnight, ushering in Halloween a week early. A Calliope's shrill siren song beckons to all with a seductive promise of dreams and youth regained. Two boys will discover the secret of its smoke, mazes, and mirrors. Two friends who will soon know all too well the heavy cost of wishes and the stuff of nightmares. So I feel like it's very Halloween-y, so I might save this for the fall. And then lastly, I have The Martian by Andy Weir. I am really excited to read this. This is really high up on my list. I'm probably going to read it soon, but I've just heard such good things about it, and from reading, like, the first few pages, I just think I'm really going to like it. Also, I love this cover. I don't love the front page. I don't know why books do this, but I'm not really a fan of that. And I also love the title page. I've heard this is also really funny, I think. It seems funny-ish. But I think I'm going to like this, and I'm definitely going to read it soon. It says, 6 days ago, astronaut Mark Watney became one of the first people to walk on Mars. Now he's sure he'll be the first person to die there. After a dust storm forces his crew to evacuate the planet while thinking him dead, Mark finds himself stranded on Mars' surface with no way to signal Earth that he's alive. And even if he could get word out, his supplies would be gone years before a rescue could arrive. Chances are, though, Mark won't have time to starve to death. The damaged machinery, unforgiving environment, or plain old human error are much more likely to kill him first. Armed with nothing but his ingenuity, his engineering skills, and gallows sense of humor that proves to be his greatest source of strength, Mark embarks on a dogged quest to stay alive. But will his resourcefulness be enough to overcome the impossible odds against him? I also recently watched Interstellar for the first time. Don't come at me I just recently watched it. I know I should have watched it sooner, but I've been in a sci-fi kick recently, so I think I'm gonna like this. So that is it for those books. Okay, I hope the lighting is still okay. I had to go do something real quick, but we're back and we're moving on to books that I got from my school library. Like I said, it was kind of random. I did it based off vibes, very, library style. So the first one I have is the Paper Menagerie. Anyways, by Ken. This is a collection of short stories. I haven't ever really been a short story kind of person, but only because I've never read them, so I think this will be a good intro to that. I think this is slightly more realistic fiction rather than fantasy, but I know it has fantasy elements in it, so I'm excited to see kind of how that plays out. But I've seen this a few places and I've seen it get good reviews, so I'm excited to read this, and I'm excited that I found it for free and it's in such good condition. But the only person that ever checked it out was in 2019, so that kind of shows these are the books that no one's reading, but I don't know why, because it's high school. Anyways, that's that book. Then we have Unnatural Creatures. Unnatural Creatures. We're gonna pretend that it's not Neil Gaiman, but this is another collection of short stories, so it's not just his writing, it's a bunch of different authors, and it's fantasy too, and it's about these different creatures and stuff, I think. Yeah, we're just gonna ignore the name on the front. Guys, separate the art from the artist. So I am excited to read this because at least one name I know in here, Diana Wynne Jones. She wrote Howl's Moving Castle, and I love Howl's Moving Castle. So that is Unnatural Creatures. Next we have Akata Witch or Akata Witch. I need to start looking up pronunciations before I make videos. This is about a girl whose friends tell her that they have magical abilities, and so does she. And so she's learning about these abilities, I guess, and it's a secret from her family, but it's worth sneaking around. But there's a dark side because they say, oh, we have to go fight this bad guy now. I think it should be interesting. I'm excited to read it. It also has a little blurb by Diana Wynne Jones, so if she likes it, I'm gonna like it. So that's this book. Akata Witch. The next one I have here is The Midnight Lie. I think I've seen good reviews on this. I don't really remember. I kind of was looking these up on Goodreads while I was in my library browsing them because I didn't want to pick up a book that I would completely hate. But this is basically about this girl who's in the low status society where they can't wear colors and stuff. And then she encounters this other person, I think a girl. Sid, I think is a girl, but I don't know because there's no pronouns in this blurb. But she encounters Sid, who is a traveler and is telling her that the High Keith possesses magic. And Sid tempts Niram, the main character, to seek the magic for herself. And she has to surrender her old life and stuff. And it says an epic LGBTQ romantic fantasy, which is why I think Sid is a girl. But I'm excited for this one. It was checked out in 2020. I think it's a newer-ish book. Yeah, 2020. Look, it's $19 normally, and I got it for free. So, of course, I'm going to get free books. But that is The Midnight Lie. And then lastly of these books, I have The Wicked Deep. This one is one I'm less excited for, I think. I'm probably going to end up reading it and liking it. But it's about this town. I'm just going to read this because I don't know how else to explain it. 2 centuries ago, 3 sisters were sentenced to death for witchery. Stones were tied to their ankles and they were drowned in the deep water surrounding the town. Now, for a brief time each summer, the sisters return, stealing the bodies of 3 troubled girls so that they may seek their revenge, luring boys into Sparrow's Harbor and pulling them under. Like many locals, 17-year-old Penny Talbot has accepted the fate of the town. But this year, on the eve of the sisters' return, a boy named Beau Carter arrives, unaware of the danger he has just stumbled into. Mistrust and lies spread quickly throughout the sultry, rain-soaked streets. The townspeople will turn against one another. Penny and Beau will suspect the other of hiding secrets, and death will come swiftly to those who cannot resist the call of the sisters. But only Penny sees what others cannot, and she will be forced to choose: save Beau or save herself. I don't know why I don't think this is going to be as good. Maybe I saw it on Goodreads, but it just seems like more YA. I still think I'm going to enjoy reading it, but I guess we'll see. You can never be sure. That is it for that section of books. I'm going to check my phone and make sure that all was recording because I have it flipped. And then we'll move on to the next section. These next books are books that I was either gifted or found or got from yard sales and stuff. So I'm not gonna go in any order. I'll just tell you where I got it. So first is The Outsiders. I got this from a yard sale. I love The Outsiders movie. It's like, I don't even know what to say. Like, if you don't know Outsiders, basically, I'll just read this little blurb. No one ever said life was easy, but Ponyboy is pretty sure that he's got things figured out. He knows that he can count on his brothers, Derry and Soda Pop, and he knows that he can count on his friends. True friends who would do anything for him, like Johnny and Two-Bit. And when it comes to the Socias, a vicious gang of rich kids who enjoy beating up on greasers like him and his friends, he knows that he can count on them for trouble. But one night, someone takes things too far, and Ponyboy's world is turned upside down. What's interesting about this book that I didn't know at first is that he wrote this when he was 16 years old. And he got a whole movie from it and all of that. Which, you know, what was I doing at 16? Nobody knows. Guys, I'm 17. I don't know why I said it like that. Anyway, that is The Outsiders. Really excited to read this. I did read like a good chunk of this, but I didn't follow through. I read like the first chapter. But that is that. The next book I have, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if I'll ever read it. Don't mind that the dust cover's off of it. I don't like dust covers. I know that's like bad, but this book is The Many Daughters of Afong Moy, and I got this from the Today Show. It was one of the hosts, I forget her name, she has like a book club, and it was like the pick of that month, and everyone in the little audience got a free book. And it's like, yay, but also, I don't know if I'm going to read this or not. It seems interesting though, and what's going to happen is I'm going to read it and be like, oh shoot, this is actually good, and then be sad that I didn't read it sooner. I'm not going to lie, I don't know what this is about. I think it's like multi-generational. I think there's like some kind of, is there magical elements? Guys, I don't know. Okay, the next book I have is Wuthering Heights, which I was gifted, and I really want to read this. I just haven't gotten to it yet, and I'm a little wary because it's a classic, and I'm in the middle of reading Jane Eyre right now, but I've been in the middle of reading it for like 6 months because I just can't get through it. It's kind of boring, and like I want to like it because everyone says they like Jane Eyre, but it's not happening. So I think I will like this. It just might be hard to get through. So we'll see. So yeah, again, don't really know what it's about, but it's Wuthering Heights. Like, it's a popular book. Next we have Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. I found this in the collection of books that we had that we were selling at a yard sale, and I was like, wait, I kind of want to keep this just because it's a popular title and it's Charles Dickens. Again, don't know if I'm really gonna read this. This kind of font in a book scares me, but I have it. So it's on my TBR, technically, but it's like at the end. Okay, these two books I got from a yard sale as well. They are both Mark Twain books. And this house that I was at that had the yard sale, they had like almost like 10 Mark Twain books, so someone was doing some kind of research project or something, because that's kind of crazy. But we of course have The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, this kid that fakes his own death and meets a runaway slave, and it's a very early America Mark Twain So I'm gonna read it one day because it's Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, but towards the end of the list. And then we have A Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court. I just picked this up because I like the cover and it looks silly. And I just think it's a fun book to just be like, oh yeah, I'm reading this book by Mark Twain. But older books like this scare me because just like the prose sometimes is like hard for my brain to wrap itself around. It makes it hard for me to like stay engaged. There's a lot of classic books that I like a lot, but they're just really hard for me to get through. I'll read this definitely. What's interesting about this is that this was originally sold for $1.95. Can we bring that back? We need books that cost $2. Because tell me why I'm going to Barnes & Noble and all the books are like $18. Whatever. The last two here I found in my basement. This first book, Shadow of the Wind, was actually, I really wanted to read it anyways, and then I was in my basement and I found it with like my mom's books, and I was like, oh, I want to read that. And so this is definitely higher up on my list just because I already wanted to read it, and it's a book about books, which love. But basically, Barcelona, 1945. A city slowly heals from its war wounds, and Daniel, an antiquarian book dealer's son who mourns the loss of his mother, finds solace in a mysterious book entitled The Shadow of the Wind. But when he sets out to find the author's other works, he makes a shocking discovery. Someone has been systematically destroying every copy of every book Carrick's has written. In fact, Daniel may have the last of Carrick's books in existence. Soon, Daniel's seemingly innocent quest opens a door into one of Barcelona's darkest secrets, an epic story of murder, madness, and doomed love. I also love The Book Thief, and I feel like it's obviously like not the same in any way, but it's just the whole historical fiction with books and possibly mystery and magic and quests. I like a good quest. So that is The Shadow of the Wind. Okay, the last book I have today is Water for Elephants. This was also in my basement, so I just brought it up here because it's a familiar title and I'm pretty sure it's a musical. I swear I heard something about Water for Elephants at the Tony Awards, but maybe I'm just going insane. I'm not sure. This doesn't have a description on it, so I'm just going to read some of the little blurbs. An arresting new novel. With a showman's expert timing, Gruen saves a terrific revelation for the final pages, transforming a glimpse of Americana into an enchanting escapist fairy tale. You'll get lost in the tatty glamour of Gruen's meticulously researched world, from spangled equestrian pageantry and a sleazy sideshow to an ill-fated night at a Chicago speakeasy. Gritty, sensual, and charged with dark secrets involving love, murder, and a majestic mute heroine. So, I think it's circusy. I think it's, like it said, Americana. I don't know. But that is the last book on my list of TBR, my physical TBR. I'm hoping I read most of these soon. I'm going to try my best not to buy more and more books before finishing these. Let me know if you liked any of these books that I should like move them higher up on my list, or if you didn't like them and I shouldn't read them. Also, if you have any other book recommendations or video ideas, I appreciate it. And thank you for watching. Love you guys, and happy reading.